Hello, and welcome to Inside the Mind of, a podcast where I dive deeper into the minds of some of my favorite people and people who inspire me in the wrestling community. Join with me today. He is the host of Kenny for Your Thoughts, which is probably one of the coolest names I've ever heard for a podcast in all reality. I'm, of course, talking about Kenny. How you doing, man?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me. Already, you're making me seem smarter than I am, trying to get inside of my head. I feel like it's full of dust, cobwebs, and dirty thoughts about Matt Ritter. Now,
Listen, he's gonna be so happy he's included. He's been mentioned almost every single episode of these.
it's no coincidence because we're just all thinking about Ritter at all times of the day. It's the voice. It really is the voice and the lips. Have you seen his lips? They're great.
Now, before I start asking you questions, have you had to deal with the rack?
The rack?
Yes.
What is the rack?
Oh, you don't know about the rack?
Uh-oh.
That is a question you need to ask Mr. Matt Ritter himself, and he will hopefully explain it, if not tell you where you can find video evidence of the rack. It is...
I usually don't hear him when he talks because you get lost somewhere between euphoria and it feels like I'm drunk, you know what I mean? It's just like the room's kind of spinning, there's kind of hazy, and it's just everything is in slow motion. So I will ask him about his rack later. Yeah.
Not his rack, the rack.
No, I'm gonna ask him. Katie told me to ask you about your rack.
Don't drag me into that. Don't mention my name with that. Come on now.
Off to a great start, guys.
Listen,
you must think the world of me.
Entertainment at its finest. That's why I do these. So you have not watched or listened to any of these prior to, right?
I have not. I do not know how to listen to a podcast on my phone device. I am 47 years old, and I have trouble with technology.
That's okay. That's okay. I told you beforehand, I like when people come into this blind. It makes it way more organic, way more entertaining. Yes. And if there's a question you don't want to answer, you can just tell me to fuck off, and you don't have to answer it.
Oh, I will answer everything. I'm an open book.
Easy enough. So we're just gonna start simple, you know?
All right.
You host a podcast, right?
Yeah.
When did you start podcasting, and how did you start?
Without going into the whole story, I was kind of in a job. I had a kid, was in this stage of my life where, you know, and it's true. It sounds like I'm trying to be profound, but it is true. I kind of had this realization that I was doing something I hated for a living. I realized I wasn't too happy in my life, and I had this dread of my daughter being 18 and looking at me and saying, you know, Dad, you know, what should I do in life? And me telling her, well, follow your dreams, and her going, well, you didn't. Like, you're not happy. Like, what do you want? Like, why would you give me that advice? So that kind of ate at me, and I started like wanting to do things that I wanted to do. A lot of that had to do with being involved in the wrestling and business somehow, and podcasting was just kind of a natural thing to get into. And you know, I had to kill that voice of like, well, everybody has a podcast, and it's like, okay, well, not everybody does a podcast well. You know, and that's how you got to look at it. So really, that's what pushed me, was just that thought of my daughter saying like, well, you're not happy in life, or being like the, you know, the fat dad sitting there with my singlet on, drinking a beer at 7 a.m, and you know what I mean? Like, I just suddenly had all these bad visions, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna start doing what I want to do. And you know, me podcasting led into like doing announcing for a local fed here in Florida, and being involved backstage, writing creatively for them and doing stuff. And it's just like, I'm so happy that I took the leap of faith and just kind of did that, because that makes me a lot happier than what the phone store I was managing at the time. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So when did your podcast journey start?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I should answer that question.
You're fine.
about October or September or October 2018. It was really All In that pushed it. All In was the pay-per-view that was like, oh wow, it's not just WWE. And so it kind of opened my mind that like there might be other avenues into professional wrestling and not just the big bad WWE. So ironically enough, as much of a WWE mark as I seem, it was definitely like an AEW influence, the independent influence that made me start podcasting. So
I feel like that's been a common theme with people I've talked to is they say, "Oh yeah, like All In or something related to AEW kind of like
Right.
push them a little bit further to be like, well, maybe I could, like now it's not just WWE that's like quote unquote mainstream. It's
Right.
something else that's starting up. Maybe I can talk about that. That's why I talk about both on my show because I
Right.
like if you like both, talk about both.
Yeah, and it's just I think a lot of us grew up in the in the WCW WWF era of the Monday Night Wars, and we want to know that something like that was coming with AEW, especially. Um, yeah, I think that inspired a lot of people of like, hey, there's going to be more spots, more wrestlers, and more things to talk about. So there's room for me.
Exactly. And now, so 2018, 2019, 2021, and we're not going to count 2022 because you haven't done anything this year
I
yet.
haven't I haven't done anything since October of 2021. So yeah,
So
I
so
haven't.
3 years you were
Yeah,
podcasting.
3 years. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode you have done of your show?
um I do like all the interviews I've done because I always feel like, and I'm sure everybody says this, but I always felt like, man, like I like how I'm not asking questions in a lot of these interviews. I'm kind of like having a conversation. And there's one with Mikey Ruckus, who makes all the AEW themes,
Yeah.
that I feel is like a really good episode because you can hear that, like, Brandon and I, my co-host, we have musical chops, so we were able to kind of like talk to him on a different level. And you can almost hear that he appreciates that. Oh, you have a musician's mind, and obviously it's about filtering that to people who may not know about music in the interview. But I felt we did a really good job. We clicked. That was the first interview that AEW allowed me to do, because what people don't realize is there were AEW basically like people watching that interview and listening to make sure we didn't say anything stupid. So that's nerve
Oh.
wracking. Yeah, that's nerve wracking. Like, we're having rapport, and at any minute, somebody could jump in and say, "Can't ask that question." And at the end of the interview, I actually asked him, like, can he plug our stuff? And they're like, first of all, thank you for asking, but go ahead. Yeah, like, let him. But yeah, that's nerve wracking because you know that people are listening.
Oh
They're
God.
yeah.
Oh, that makes me so nervous to even think about.
Yeah. So just
Ah.
if anybody wants to interview, like, certain, like, maybe like Impact or AEW or stuff, just realize that somebody else will be on the line to make sure you don't disparage their brand. So cheers.
That is so. Has that? Have you done anything with like anyone currently with WWE at all, or no?
um not anybody like currently employed, not like employed at the time of the interview, no.
Okay.
Have I done interviews with like some WWE people who used to work there? Yes, but no, nothing with WWE.
Because I was gonna say, I wonder if it's like the same.
Yeah,
I would assume it'd be like the same
I
for
would
them.
assume.
I mean,
Yeah,
especially for them,
yeah,
they
I
got
would
they
assume
got
so.
secrets, man. They're like,
Yeah,
you're taking this to your grave type of secrets. So
yeah.
that's kind of terrifying.
So you forget about it after a while, but it's just something to prepare for if anybody ever does it.
I can't even like. If, I'm still trying to like wrap my brain around that. Like, imagining someone like sitting in and listening to this,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
just nervous the entire time.
And you are, and to be honest, the way I did it, I mean, I didn't tell them I was doing it, but they told us we had an hour. So I think I talked to him for like 10 minutes before I started recording, just to kind of like get that out of my mind of like,
That's
I'm being
smart.
recorded. I got to watch what I say. So we kind of like, I just was having a conversation with him, and of course I recorded it all, but like I didn't actually start the episode until a little bit in, when his energy was up, my energy was up, and then they were kind of trusting like we're good, you know.
That's that's smart. That's what we were doing. People don't know that we
Right.
were. I mean, we recorded for, or no, we were talking for like 20 minutes, and I kind of just hit record at one point, and I said, "All right, well, I'm just gonna hit record, and we'll see
Yeah.
when I want to start."
It's smart. It's smart. I think that's advice I would give anybody who, I don't care if your guess is a nobody like me, or the AEW World Champion. It's just kind of get the feel, have a conversation before you even start recording, because um, it definitely gets nerves out. It makes them feel better, than to just jump in
Yeah,
the gun. You know what I mean? It's I hate to say it like this, but it's kind of like the foreplay before the main event kind of thing, you know. So it's you got to do it, got to work up to it, guys. Got to work up to it.
I mean, great way to think about it, honestly.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Like, and that's the crazy thing is that it's 100% true.
Yeah.
You can't just
you
straight into it. That's just disrespectful.
There you go. It's exactly that, and that's why, like, you know, whether it's sex, whether it's interviews, relationships, they're all tied in the sense of like how you should approach it. And I always approach. It sounds weird, but I always approach everything like, you know, like a relationship, like because it's like if you treat everybody with that kind of sensitivity and the kind of like caring about them, you know, things go off without a hitch.
Look at that. See. Good job, Kenny.
I'm a romantic at heart. What can I say?
I feel that on a personal level. I am too, so I relate to that. So
cheers to that.
Shit, cheers.
I'm jealous because you have a Mountain Dew, and
I
have Mountain Dew in my fridge, and I should get some.
I took it from work, so I was like, I need a drink. I need some type of caffeine to record.
So the end of February. So sidebar, my sister's favorite drink is Taco Bell's Baja Blast, and their birthday, they turned 21 at the end of February. At the end of February, they are releasing, coincidentally, a alcoholic version of the Baja Blast.
Yep.
And so I already messaged them that they live a couple hours away from me, go to college. I basically said, hey, just so you know, we got to have a drink. I don't care if it's on your birthday. I know you're going to do whatever you got to do, but like, let's have a drink. So I'm already like, oh my God, I got to go find these Baja Blasts.
And like, I saw that it was going to be a seltzer, and I got really disheartened because I hate seltzers.
Right.
But I would try it because it's Baja Blast.
Exactly.
I fuck
you
with
have
Baja
to.
Blast.
Right.
It's the only reason you gotta talk about it.
Thank you. And I'm not so just FYI, and even not to even sound pretentious, I don't drink soda. Like I don't drink soda like that. Like I have a Mountain Dew like a 2-liter in my fridge, and it's been there for months. And that's to tell you, if I'm like, oh, I'll go to Taco Bell and get some Baja Blast, that's how much I like it.
Man,
like
Baja Blast it's different.
Absolutely.
Now, do you get the freeze or do you get just the drink?
No, it's the normal one. I can't stand the freeze because it's like it's
a lot.
The freeze, it's too much. Yeah, I'm like I just want it down my throat in a nice way. We are talking about the Baja Blast, guys. Just keep your mind out of the gutter.
I love this. This is fantastic.
My girlfriend's sitting there somewhere listening to this, going, "Yep, I knew it.
Hey,
I'll just leave it at that.
There we go. That's all we need. Oh man, so 3 years of podcasts and interviews and such. Any unexpected moments that happened during your show or when you're on another show that made you go like, holy shit, just crack up, like be like, what is going on? Anything you can think of.
I mean, just as a general statement, Kyle Bird from Apron Bump, anytime I'm on his show, there's just like a different kind of energy between us. And it's like so funny because it's like we joke, obviously, like, you know, I joke with everybody, but with him, it's just like it's almost like we instantaneously know what the vibe is and we go off of it for the whole episode. And it's always so fun. So if you haven't listened to his show, listen, Matt Ritter's on there. I think Katie's actually going to be on there pretty soon herself. Yep. He's got a great show. He reviews, you know, old events, and you sit there and kind of go through every match, and it's so fun. But every time he asks me to do his show, I like jump, like, because it's exciting for me. It's almost like not recording. It's just like it's not work. It's just hanging out, right? And we end up sitting there, like, you can ask him. We've just hung out there for like 4 or 5 hours. Like, wow. Just we record maybe like an hour or two, but then we'll hang out like before and after. So it's good times. I'm really upset that he's engaged. That's all I'll say.
You can't even take yourself seriously.
No, but the people in audio land are like, what's wrong with this guy?
That's why I tell people you have to watch the video versions of all of my podcasts.
Because on the video version, I'm like, my eyebrows up, I'm looking down, I'm doing, but audio version, they're like, what is going
They're
on
like,
with this
what
guy?
in the hell is happening over there?
Like, he's got some pent up frustration for Kyle Bird there.
So basically anytime you're on apron bumps, you just know something unexpected is gonna happen.
Always, and it's always like he's gonna pick up what I'm putting down, and likewise, and it's always gonna be hilarious to the point where I think the whole thing is like the whole episode we're just trying to crack each other up. And if we can make the other person break, we've done our job, you know. So always so fun,
Yeah,
always so fun.
that's because nobody wants to do a podcast with someone and it just be like deadpan and
And
distracting like
I've
this.
had it, and it's just like I'll sit there and like, you know, I will never mention names. Like, to be honest, I don't even remember names probably. But you know, you have episodes like that where people are like that, and I'm sitting there trying to like poke them, like almost like poke the bear, and just get like, hey, come on, let's talk with me, so we're not just sitting here.
Yeah.
And they're not taking the hint and stuff. And you know, I don't mean that to sound like weird. It's just more so like I want their crowd. Like I'm thinking of like a person sitting at home listening. Like, do you
Yeah.
want to listen to complete silence, you know, or do you want to like have fun? And so yeah, I've been on those shows too.
Uh,
They don't
no.
they don't last long. They don't last
Mm-mm.
long.
No, they don't. I've been on a few, and then after the fact, I'm like, I just sit there. I'm like, that didn't go well. Like, that's not gonna translate well.
Right. And I hate to again make the comparison, but sex, right? It's like that feeling afterwards of like, man, I shouldn't have done this. You know, like man, I feel worse about myself for having done this with this person, you know. And it's like that's it's true sometimes, like, and that's what I mean, like with Kyle, with Ritter, you know, with you, with Joey Carney of the Angle podcast. There's certain things like people that like you afterwards, you're like, man, that was great. I liked it.
Yeah.
I had fun. And then there's other ones that you're just kind of like, man, I shouldn't have done that. And I knew I shouldn't have done that. You always know going into it that you shouldn't have done it.
Yep. Yeah, you
Again,
always have that small feeling of dread. You're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this.
right. Exactly.
But then you do it, and then afterwards you're like, fuck, why did I do this?
Right. My college years in a nutshell, right?
I always try and tell people it's a compliment if you can make me laugh, but I literally laugh at fucking everything now. I think that's the only reason Matt keeps me around is because I laugh at his jokes.
Oh, and don't do that. Don't boost his ego. He doesn't need it.
He's a funny guy. I can't help it. I mean, I
He
literally
doesn't
crack
need
up.
it.
How many times have I laughed during this podcast, Kenny? Too many.
Okay, but I pretty much paid you to do that. Just full disclosure to everybody there.
I'm
I have paid Katie.
Crazy. It's my show. I'm getting paid for you being here.
Right.
I wish. Somebody pay me, please.
I just had a friend text me after like 3 days, and he just responded, haha.
What the fuck?
Let me tell you something. I won't mention names, but if you're gonna message me after 3 days and say haha, just block my number. Like, what are we? That's not a response.
I mean, what's killing me is the 3 days later.
But that's why it's more offensive. Because if you'd responded 3 days later, hey, sorry, brother, you know, was dealing with some stuff, blah blah blah. That's funny though. I can accept that, but you respond 3 days later, haha.
That's terrible.
Oh man, good times. Good times.
Fantastic times.
You got heat with me, you hear? Heat.
Oh shit. Y'all got heat now. Oh no. Watch out. She's getting real. But
he apologized for the late response. We're good. We're good
well,
now,
there you
guys.
go.
We're good, guys. All right.
The heat
All right.
has been cooled down. It is fine.
We've cooled down the heat, right?
Yeah. Why did you question me on that? You looked confused when I said that.
I felt like I wanted to say like there was a better way, and then I said it, and I was just like, I said the same shit she said.
You said the same thing
Tamina.
except flipped the words.
I'm the Tamina of this podcast. Do you remember when it was just like who was it? One of them was like, if you don't shut up right now, I'm gonna make you look like James Ellsworth. It was Charlotte Flair, and then Tamina was like, Charlotte, you better shut up before I make you look like Ellsworth.
Why do I have the weirdest memory of that happening?
It was like she said the same thing. Charlotte just.
I feel like that happens all the time nowadays. I think it was Bianca came out and said something about she's going to eliminate 29 other women, win the Rumble. And then Liv came out and said the exact same thing, except a slightly different diction in her voice.
Right.
Oh, man.
But it's okay. That was my Tamina moment, and I apologize.
It's okay. I can forgive you, I guess.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If only my mom could do that. Mom,
oh
please
my god.
She said her body's never been the same ever since, and she regrets having me. So, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, this is all staying in, by the way. I hope you know.
Right, and you know what's horrible about that? My mom loves me. She has never said such a thing.
Oh my god. Oh,
I apologize, Mom, if disappointed you.
Already. I'm so happy. Oh.
As you cry.
As I cry. Happy tears. Laughing tears. Great times.
I'm having fun because I'm red. I look at my face and I'm red because I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah, if I turn the color of the shirt I'm wearing, you know it's a good time.
Exactly. And I'm like flush. I'm like, oh man, like I forgot that like when you podcast and you actually have fun, like you sweat.
Yeah.
And you get hot.
Yeah. It's a thing.
It's super weird. Here, I'll just start taking off articles of clothing.
Please do not. What is that?
You're not monetized. Let's just fix it. It's fine.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Jesus Christ.
I think I told you this joke, but I didn't say it on air. So I literally have like all of these like lights and stuff, you know, obviously for podcasting purposes, and they're in my guest room / like pseudo office that I film in. And when people come in and they're like staying in my guest room, they're like, what are all those lights and cameras for? And I'm like, oh, it's for my OnlyFans. And then I walk out of the room. And people believe me. Like, they believe me. Because they're like, why else would he have ring lights and stuff like that? I'm like, for podcasting, you idiots. For podcast.
I mean, hey, like I told you, make that money, Kenny. Make that money.
I should. So if you'd be interested, just DM me on Twitter and I'll make it happen. Just let me know. Everybody out there.
Everyone out there. Don't worry. You know what?
My email is chunkylover53@aol.com. That's a Simpsons joke.
You know what? Perfect segue. We talked about OnlyFans. Trust me, I have a plan on where this is going. Don't.
All right, let's hear this. Let's hear this.
So, OnlyFans, right? It's not podcasting. It's another hobby. Right. So besides podcasting and possibly OnlyFans, we wouldn't judge you if you did. What else do you like to do in your spare time?
You would not believe this. If you know my podcast, you would. But I am actually a single father of a beautiful 4-year-old. She is absolutely wonderful. Light of my life, humbles me every day as a father. I'm actually a damn good father. I know it sounds weird. I like joking around. It probably seems like the jackass, but very, I dedicate my life to that girl. Yeah. So that's a lot of my time right there, is just spending time with my daughter and just watching her grow. And I know that sounds lame, but anybody who's a parent out there, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Besides wrestling in general, if you couldn't tell from my joke earlier, I'm a huge Simpsons fan. So I actually like The Simpsons probably up to like season 13. I would say I know more about The Simpsons than I know about wrestling.
Wow.
And I think that would surprise a lot of people, because like they're like, but you know a lot about wrestling. I'm like, exactly. And so like my girlfriend's actually a Simpsons fan, and she's like, oh, you know, when we first started dating, she's like, how do you like know the next lines that are coming? And I'm like, because I'm a dork. And like I have these episodes like memorized. So The Simpsons is a huge thing. Besides that, I mean, I'm gonna sound like an alcoholic. I just like going out drinking and having a good time, but like, you know, that's it. Yeah, I don't know much.
I mean,
much else.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I like it. I like everything though. I'm a this will sound weird, but I'm like a try it once kind of guy, at least. You know, I don't mean that in like that kind of way, guys. I know it probably sounds weird after saying all the stuff that I've said before.
Yeah, a little bit maybe, but
yeah. But I do a lot of like again, people wouldn't realize this of me, but I do a lot of meditation
Okay.
and like sitting still. Yeah, stuff like a lot of Zen work, a lot of body work. So you'd be surprised to hear that from me, because I think I give the impression that I'm very ignorant and just like joking all the time.
I wouldn't say ignorant. I'd say just like outgoing and like constantly moving. I wouldn't say
Oh,
ignorant.
that is a lie too, right? So I would say I am one of the most what's the term? I'm not actually as outgoing as I seem. So like I
You're
definitely
introverted.
require, yeah, I'm like an introverted out extrovert.
Yeah.
Where like after this episode, for example, I will shut off the camera, I will go watch wrestling, and I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So I'll have those moments too. So like I kind of find like the fun in everything, you know.
I like that though. I mean, life's not. I mean, life's boring if you can't find the fun in everything you do.
Right. That's how it's exactly it. I feel like, you can't change the circumstances sometimes, but you can change your reaction to them. So like I can't change that, like, oh, no one's gonna hang out I know it sounds stupid, but like, oh, everyone's busy tonight, so no one's gonna hang out with me tonight. But what I can change is how I approach it. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, tonight's my, because last night when I had, my daughter's with her mom right now, but last night when I had my daughter and like I just wanted some peace, at that time I remember, hey, you're gonna miss her tomorrow when
Yep.
she's gone. So I always try to like kind of stay grounded, stay it's the Jeff Hardy saying of live in the moment.
There you go.
Yeah.
And like, listen, I have nieces who are 5, so like I understand the whole.
Yeah.
I understand that age. All of the Paw Patrol. I've never watched so much Paw
Always.
Patrol in my entire life.
Ryder needs us.
No, he doesn't. Like, get out of here.
We were discussing it at her preschool yesterday, all the parents. For some reason we got into a conversation about Paw Patrol.
Okay.
And the question was, how the fuck does Ryder afford all of these things? Because this guy's got to be loaded. This kid's got to have like a rich daddy who just pays for everything. Because he's got like a whole base. I don't know if you've seen the movie. I've been forced to watch it.
I have
they
not
like
been forced to watch the movie.
Right. They take basically like a Lex Express essentially to to New York. It's a chartered bus kind of thing, but they take they take that to New York, and it's like, how do they afford all this shit, man?
I find myself sometimes just sitting there watching cartoons with them, and I'm like, I get too mad. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why? How is this happening? But then like I watch
cartoon.
SpongeBob all the time with my one niece, and she fucking loves it. So
I'm so bad because I watched SpongeBob growing up, but like I loathe my daughter watching it, so like I almost make her lower the volume. So full disclosure, I work from home, so I do mortgages. A lot of the time I work from home while I'm watching her, and like I'm like trying to like focus on doing numbers and run stuff, and all I can hear is bah, bah, bah. And I'm like, I'm like, either go watch that in another room, right, and I need it, and I'm like, just get that shit out of here, just go in the other room or something, yeah.
Sorry, I have to make a quick note that there's a SpongeBob impression in this video. 10 out of 10. It was very good, by the way. Surprised you didn't do the like the moving of your voice.
The shake.
Yeah.
The vibrato.
The vibrato. Listen, that's the course kid in me. I know those terms. I got you.
There you go. There we
go. So all right, we'll shift a little bit. I asked these same questions to everybody. So nobody's getting different questions. There's no special treatments here. Except for mine, because I knew all of these questions, so we had to switch it up completely. But if you could have a dinner, right? You go out somewhere with any 3 wrestlers, dead or alive. Who are you picking and why?
I feel like the answers would surprise you. I'm
ready.
a lot more old school than I let on. Obviously I love wrestling. I love new school, but I have a deep passion for like the men and women who paved the way. 3 that come to mind, just super random. At least 2 that come to mind. I'm trying to think of a third here. Even though he's my favorite wrestler, I would never go to dinner with Shawn Michaels. I'll tell you why. Because he just says, like every 2 seconds. I want you to go listen to a Shawn Michaels interview. I can't listen to them. He'll be like, we're going to dinner, and
wow.
you know.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, that is, yeah.
It's once you hear it, you can no longer listen to Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I ruined it for everybody. Please, no one listen to this episode. Two that come to mind, and I'll think of the third on the way. Bruno Sammartino.
Okay.
Just because I've always loved how that guy talks, and he's always got a very charming, back in my old country, you do the just the way he talks, it's like you pay attention.
Yeah.
The second, again, you'd be surprised, is Ron Simmons.
Okay.
Just the way he tells stories on stuff when he's just like, and then Ron Simmons was coming around, haha. Like it's just you pay attention.
Yeah.
And just to get Ron Simmons and like Bruno Sammartino at the same table, I feel would be like so like clashing of cultures, of generations, and of guys who just both can tell a story. So it's almost like, you're gonna have to listen. But then you need a third, I guess, a good third to kind of stir that pot in a good way. I wanted to say Ric Flair, but like no, especially not nowadays. Maybe back in the day. That third is hard for some reason. I guess Eddie Guerrero, man, just because I just loved Eddie's just one of my favorites. Or maybe like AJ Styles too, since if we're talking about like a current guy, I could just see AJ sitting there going, I like Bruno Sammartino. I love Ron Simmons. None of their stories are cat. It's just, I can imagine it'd be amazing.
Oh man, I love the impressions. I love when people do impressions of wrestlers, and you do it all the time.
I do. I don't mean to do them. Like I don't go into an
you just
episode.
Fall into it.
Right, like you told me I did a SpongeBob impression. Like afterwards, I was kind of like, oh, I did do a SpongeBob. I've never done a SpongeBob impression.
I
don't know.
It wasn't bad.
Right.
Oh,
so yeah.
Fucking funny. I'm a big I find myself mimicking people a lot. I'm actually very bad at that. So like if I'm talking to somebody long enough, I pick up their accent or something like that. So
are you a Gemini?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay, because I was gonna say Geminis usually are the ones who, if you believe in astrology, are the ones who like follow people's energy.
I mean, I'm not like super into astrology. Like I believe some of that stuff. Like I'm a Cancer, so I'm very emotional. I'm like, fuck, you're right. True.
Yeah.
I'm like called out. That's fine.
Yeah.
I get it.
There you go.
But it's true.
I'm technically a Capricorn, but like I've always been told I don't show traits of the Capricorn if you believe in that stuff. And it's because I'm the last day of the Capricorn, and on some calendars I'm the first day of the Aquarius. So if I always seem like I show traits of both, that would be why.
Yeah, I'm the last day of Cancer. I'm right before Leo.
There you go. It's a cusp signs are supposed to be the most interesting personalities. I'm not saying that about myself. I'm just saying that that's what they say. I
mean, if we're both on the cusp here, I think we're both very interesting people.
You said it, not me.
I mean, I'll say it again. We're interesting people. Damn it. There we go. I appreciate that. It's the truth. I wouldn't have you on here if you weren't interesting or my friend or cool with me.
Or have paid the $50 to get on. Right.
Don't be telling people.
Sorry. I apologize. Edit that out.
No edits.
Can't afford my light bill this month because I had to pay the entry fee to get in here.
Just makes me seem like a dictator of the podcast.
I just hope. Yeah, I mean, oh crap.
No. Oh, see, this is why people need to watch this episode. Like,
watch the video version. You have no idea what I just did.
And I'm not even. Y'all are gonna have to watch.
Don't even say it. Right.
We're just gonna move on.
Yeah, there you go.
So since 2018, you've been, in the podcasting world, and you've made all of these connections with a bunch of different people. We talked about it before: Matt, Kyle, Joey, all of them. And I've asked Matt and Kyle these questions. Haven't interviewed Joey yet. That's on the list. But do you have any advice for anyone wanting to start podcasting, or just any advice in general? It doesn't have to be about podcasting.
I mean, I've been giving it the whole episode. I feel like I've been giving little nuggets here and there. But again, that's just my opinion. I don't want anyone to think like I hold all the secrets. I think you should listen to all of these and kind of put them together and into your own style. The biggest piece of advice I would give, though, is if you're thinking about doing a fucking podcast, just fucking start it. Because people ask, how do you have this lighting set up? What did you do with this microphone? What microphone is this? And they start going, if I had all of that stuff, I would podcast. And I go, okay, I started off with a cracked laptop, no ring light, no lights, a dinky little USB microphone that barely worked. And then as I did them and I needed stuff, I would slowly add the pieces. And so it's not about being the finished product. It's just like anything. Just like wrestlers, no one comes in as a finished product in professional wrestling. It's like they start adding pieces. Oh, this person's getting better at promos. Oh, they changed their outfits. Oh, they grew their hair. And it's like all of a sudden you see the finished piece and you go, wow, look at that. What did you do to get there? And it's just like they just showed up and they just changed things and they did what they felt. So again, you'll know, just start. I don't always remember that your first episode is going to be your worst. And once you crack that open, though, it's not going to get any worse than that. Keep going from there. Seriously, go listen to my first episode, which was shot on 2 iPhones because we didn't have microphones. It was shot on 2 iPhones sitting in a bedroom while we were in shorts. You know what I mean? Just sitting barefoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just literally just a conversation. And it's horrible. And I didn't even want to include it as episode 1. But then I said, I always kind of wanted to go back to that and remember like how far we've come.
Humble beginnings.
Right. And if you are able, the other piece of advice I'll give you, and I've heard this from Chris Van Vliet, because I did an interview with Chris Van Vliet and he said this. I did an interview with Josiah Williams of Wrestling Flow and he said this. And the advice is, if you listen to your early cuts, if you will, if you listen to your early episodes and you don't cringe, you have not done shit, because that means you haven't progressed. You should literally be happy to cringe because that means you've progressed.
Yeah.
So I think the between those 2 things, I think just start, and you should be embarrassed of your first couple episodes. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm definitely embarrassed by the first episode I ever did. I was on my other laptop that I use as my how I watch the Twitch chat when I do ShElite every Thursday. I was on no, actually, it wasn't even on that one. I was on my old laptop from college. Jesus Christ, I forgot about that.
That's why it's good to reflect, because the reaction you just had of like, wow, I didn't even realize it was further back. That's the reaction I'm talking about. You should always feel like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
Oh man, I didn't have the webcam I have. I didn't have a microphone. I had the iPhone headphones with the microphone right here.
Right.
Ew. Yeah.
But you started, and it's because of you actually doing it. Like, look, now you do 3 shows a week. Now you do all these things. You're interviewing other podcasters. So it's like, again, just look at Katie. It's like, just start anywhere, because you're lapping people who are thinking about it. I think the biggest thing, and this is more life advice more than just podcasting, it's like the more you think, the more it doesn't get done. You got to start. You have to start, and you'll get somewhere, I promise. And I have to remind myself of that. Don't think I'm saying that from a point of view of like, I know what I'm doing. No, it took a lot. My friend told me to do a podcast in 2015. It took all the way to 2018 for me to say, fuck this, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because I have the first stuff that we shot from 2015. I have like the footage of it.
Oh man.
And him sitting there going like, you're a natural, fucking do this and stuff. And like, it took 3 years to do it.
Yeah. It's also like it's a mental game. If you put that barrier up of you're not gonna do it, or you're gonna fail doing it, then you're gonna fail doing it and you're not gonna do it. But if you have the mindset of like, well, I can do this. Fuck it. Yeah. I've been doing this a year.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
And humble beginnings. I was not here a year ago. That's for damn sure.
Right. And I think even I think the first time I met you, like, you didn't even just have the confidence exuding out of you the way you do now, just like with talking and like with me. Again, just because we're talking about advice, example, I would like to think I have a good voice in some sense, but the
Mm-hmm.
first couple podcasts, I was talking more like this because I wanted to be a podcast, and I would say, in professional wrestling, you're doing this and doing that, and I was like, wow, this is really engaging. I like my voice, right? But you know what I started realizing? Nobody's listening to a freaking wrestling podcast to hear somebody talk like that.
Yeah.
They're listening to like advice stuff for people like that. They want to hear more of like a Stephen A. Smith of like, let me tell you what is going on.
Yeah.
Because, people want to hear like a wrestling promo. They want you to feel excited about professional wrestling. So organically, it's not like I just said like, oh, I want to talk like that. I just said organically, I said, I am excited about professional wrestling. I said, stop talking like a radio show and start talking about like, you're fucking excited to be a fan and like, oh my God, this is the crap that happened. And ever since I started doing that, even my co-host, he went from talking like normal to talking like, like, and so I think, again, it's like once you start, you'll put it together. You'll start realizing, if you're smart, you put it together and go, this is how I should be doing it. Because again, it's not really about you. It's about, you got to look at it from the perspective of like, who's listening to my show.
Mm-hmm.
And learn to pivot too. Because you'll notice like YouTube analytics, you'll notice which topics people like, and you'll start going, oh, they're paying attention to that, so maybe I should amp up the volume on that, do more of those segments.
Yeah. It's. I was just talking to. I hate that we bring him up every episode. I was talking to Matt about this the other day.
No, don't bring him up.
Stop it. But I like got in my head about like analytics and stuff, and I was like, I feel like. Which is something I've been doing the entire time I've had access to analytics, whether it was when I was on SmackDraw versus having this and I control all of this, like this is my baby kind of thing. Right. I've always been like constantly in my head about, okay, so people aren't listening to this or they're not watching this. Why aren't they doing this? And he told me, it was like, that doesn't fucking matter. You do it for the love of podcasting. And I was like, honestly, yeah, like this past year has been one of the best years of my entire life. No cap.
Yeah.
Like, everything I've got to do, every person I've got to meet, you, everyone else. Like, I've been blessed. And I've been called Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna take it. I think I had a pretty damn good year as a rookie, so...
I like it. I do. I like the confidence, like I said.
It's not here a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly it. When I say pay attention to analytics too, yeah, I think, just to clarify too, for someone out there who's like, yeah, I pay attention to analytics all the time. Yeah, you can't just beat yourself over analytics. Mm-hmm. It is just a tool to kind of gauge to where you're going. So what I mean by that is like, if I notice everyone's liking me doing trivia with somebody, it's like, okay, let's do some more trivia segments. They're fun. I like them anyway. So let's pivot towards that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a tool, not of like okay, people are paying attention to this, but they think this other stuff sucks. So, okay, mm-hmm. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, if you're using it like that, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a tool, a barometer, if you will.
Okay. Barometer? Yeah. SAT
It's a big word.
It's a big word for
SAT
Elmo.
word of the day. It is. I don't even know how to spell it, guys. Sorry. I apologize.
I'm like trying to spell it out in my head.
Isn't it Barometer?
I'm about to find out. Barometer. Say, don't talk back to me. Barometer. I think that's what you said.
Barometer. There you go.
It's like, I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. Barometer.
My mother would be so proud of me right now. She would. God rest her soul. She's not dead, but she's probably sleeping. So.
Oh my God. Jesus, you can't do that to me. Remember when I told you earlier that like I'm a very emotional person? You can't. Jesus Christ. I was about to be like, so do you want to end it now?
She's fine.
God fucking
she's just emotionally damaged from having me as a son. That's all.
Oh my God. All right, enough of you.
Emotional damage. Please tell me you know that meme.
Listen.
It's like Stephen He.
Listen, I'm on TikTok. I know all the things.
Okay, good. Thank God.
That's why I said that's a big word for Elmo.
I'm 33. And my
30?
sisters are yeah, I'm 30. I just turned 33. You didn't know that?
No.
I am old. I got a couple more good years in me, and then I'm kicking the bucket.
Okay.
Now my sisters are about to be 21, and I'm always telling them stuff on TikTok, like what you just said. Like
Yeah.
I'm always telling them stuff like that, and they're like, I'm ashamed of you. Like you're in the age range that's supposed to know TikTok. Why am I telling you stuff?
It's
Yeah.
hey, people are on different sides of TikTok, man. Sometimes it doesn't correlate all the way through. I'm on it's every goddamn side of TikTok, I think. It is not okay. I'm all over the damn place.
It's the comments that really will just mess with you.
Oh man, sometimes you just watch a video and you're like, I'm curious what the comments say, and the comments are funnier than the video can ever be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. It's like they'll just come out of left field of like, I hate to say this because I don't want to make fun of the topic, but like they'll be like a bad video and it'll be like duetted or something, and somebody will be like, "This was my 13th reason why," and I was just
Oh
like, I'm like,
man,
oh
I
my
forgot people used to
god,
say that.
yeah, like yeah, like, and I'm like, it's so horrible. But I'm like, oh, yeah,
It's
TikTok's a weird place.
I love TikTok.
Yeah,
Fuck.
scroll for hours. You know, back in my day, we used to have Vines, guys.
Oh, I miss Vine.
Yeah, I do too.
Do you have a favorite Vine? Like off the rib?
I have a ton of them, but off the dome right now, the Water Malone ones. It's a Water Malone. It's not a Water Malone. Yeah, that's just right off the
Perfect.
dome there.
That's
Yeah,
a good one. Solid choice.
yeah.
I fucking love.
Thank you.
R.I.P.
I
Vine.
appreciate that. I know. Let's start our own. We'll call it, since we both have K's here. We'll call it Kine. Kine. Don't, whoever's listening, don't trademark that. Edit that shit out. Edit it before someone steals our copyright.
I guarantee nobody's gonna steal it.
I'm listening to you, Matt Ritter. If you start a damn social media platform called Kine, I know where you found it from.
Oh fuck. All right, listen. If you, at the ripe age of 33, if you had to write an autobiography about your life, what would be the title and why are you choosing that title?
I what's funny is like usually I feel like this is a question I would normally have just like right there would have a title, but I got nothing right now. So I would probably call it like, well, that works, right? Or something. What I was gonna say was I don't know. I guess I'll get more serious with this one. I'll call myself Outside the Box. It would call myself Outside the Box of my autobiography because I always feel like I specifically try not to fit norms or almost like play in the norms and kind of like color outside the lines a little bit. You know what I mean? So, and it's done me well. So I feel like I feel like that's how I live my life. I don't live with societal norms or things like that, and I just try to be happy, the happy guy.
I love that. Honestly.
There, that's yeah.
Outside the box, the happy guy, just very small print.
Right,
underneath.
the happy guy, and the picture is literally me stepping outside like this. So it's like, and then on the back it says about the author. Kenny Majid was dropped on his head as a child.
Oh my god!
And it's like, he fell down a couple stairs.
How many
his
is
dad
a
watched?
How many
watched
is a couple?
Laughed. Couple flights, I should say.
Oh, good. Good.
Right. His dad watched him, laughed, and then left to get milk. Never came back.
Fuck. Oh.
God rest his soul. Yeah. No, he's not dead either. But he might be sleeping.
So. You don't fucking stop. You're gonna give me a heart attack over here. Come on now.
Sorry.
Oh man.
God rest your soul. Right.
One of the reasons I like that I'm changing topics completely. One of the reasons I like that question so much is I like when people start discussing or describing what the cover is gonna be. Because Justin from Ghetto did the same thing. I can't remember what his title was, but it was something. I think he said something about him like stepping out of the shower, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Amazing. Amazing.
But like, it's crazy to think about. Like, you can envision this book. You're holding it in your hand. It's the book of your life, and you can say, "This is what's on it. This is the picture. This is the title. What's in it? My life." You just got to read it.
And I think we're all like, you know, podcasters and creatives in that sense too. So I think it's like almost like the thought process has to be like something tangible. It like has to be that physical book, and how creative it is to make the, like you said, like everybody's probably made that cover in their head, and no, you didn't tell us to do that. You know what I mean? So it's just funny how the human mind works. You know,
the mind is such an interesting place. Yeah. Which is why I like to get inside of it.
Hey. The title of the show. Insider.
Round of applause for myself. What a good fucking segue.
Great segue.
No. Wow, I don't think I've ever gaslit myself so much during a show.
There's something about, I don't know, there's something about me that's making Katie full of herself. Like, it's just
yeah,
just
I don't know what's going on here. I've never been like, yeah, I'm the shit. Depends on the day.
You are the shit. Just keep it up.
Stop it.
You should be like that.
Nah.
I'm just shit. I'm just shit.
Oh, so. Stop it.
Right.
You are not.
Like you would. I am. Absolutely.
You are the shit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's all true. It's all true.
Look at you gaslighting me, and not in the way that my ex-girlfriend did.
Okay.
There.
All right.
God rest her soul.
Stop. I'm waiting for you to be
too.
like one of these times you're gonna say, and they're gonna be like, "No,
right.
They're actually dead." I'm not gonna know what to do with myself. I can't have you be doing this.
I don't think I would actually say it if someone's dead. That's the funny part. If someone is actually dead, I don't think I physically have it in me to say, "God rest their soul."
I fucking hope not, Kenny, because I'm not gonna be able to handle it.
All right. Yeah.
So
that should be the title of my book. God rest his soul. The Kenny Majid story.
Oh man.
Horrible. And it's just like 1 foot in the grave with me like this.
It's still the same pose.
It's the same cover. It's the same cover. It's just a grave and me stepping in. There you go. Look at that.
Oh man, somebody sketched up this cover right now.
2-part biography.
2-part biography.
One's like my early years, one's my epitaph, you know? It's just like
damn,
my swan song.
SAT words.
I do use, this is the thing, like I do use big words, but it's always, it's always funny because like I don't usually, I don't know, like I always like go with the crowd. Like if I feel like I can't use big words with someone, I don't. So when I say like it's a big thing that I'm using big words with you, that I mean that.
I take it as a compliment. I went to college for 5 years.
You should.
I have a big brain.
Right, you should. I failed out of junior high school, right? God rest my soul. Right.
God fucking damn it. I love this.
I'm just kidding, guys. I failed out of high school, right?
How foolish.
Yeah, apologize, guys.
High school was a shit show. College was a shit show.
It was.
Ugh. Weird times. So, since you have not done podcasts in 4-ish months, maybe?
Yeah, about 4 months, yeah.
I'm happy I'm your first taste back into the podcasting world. You're jumping back in.
Thank you.
Anything you have planned for, like, do you have an idea of when you're coming back? If you're coming back?
I've started to get that itch, you know, and, you know, jumping on yours, obviously, like, it reminds me to kind of, that I'm like, oh, I do like this shit. Like, I really do like being on camera and talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'm hard on myself. It's as simple as that. And again, this is, I guess, more advice for people, right? Because I know, like, and I'm nobody, but I do know that there's some people who, like, look at my numbers or something and go, like, oh, man, like, I wish it was where you're at. Well, I'm sitting there going, like, my numbers aren't shit. So even I'm sitting there, like, criticizing myself. And after a while, it kind of got, like, you know, if I'm not doing these numbers, why am I doing this at all, you know? And so it took a little break because I was a little burnt out. But right now I'm kind of feeling like, you know, hey, maybe I can come up with a different kind of concept. Kind of, hey, look what you're trying with this show here. Just come up with something that I'm a little bit more inspired to do, and something that I can sink my teeth into, and not really. It was just really offensive to my brain to talk to Brandon for an hour every week. And I'm just kidding.
I knew you were gonna somehow drag Brandon somewhere in this episode.
That's our dynamic in a nutshell, isn't it? But just to do something a little different, and to I do have some other passions. Like it'll sound weird, but like I got a Tesla in August, and like now I kind of like want to do some like Tesla content. So I'm kind of feeling like maybe I step out, I start doing some stuff, but I feel like I want to do more motivational stuff and like stuff that's more akin to me and not just wrestling. So I'll kind of work that out. But again, I got to take my own advice, which is just start the sumbitch instead of thinking about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the last like 2 videos on your channel are Tesla content.
Yeah.
So
they are.
Because I was trying to get your damn logo for my fucking show, and I was like, I can't get this anywhere, and I don't even remember how I got it, but I got it.
You could just ask me. I sent you the PNG file.
I could have, but I took the hard way to get it,
She basically, Katie doesn't want to talk to me any more than she has to. That's what's going on. That's really what it is, guys. That's really, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Really, my soul and my ego is hurt. But she's gonna edit this to sound like I'm, answering questions that she never asked. She'll be like asking questions like, so why are you better than everybody? And I'll be like, because I'm the fucking man. And it's like, well, I never said that.
Well, now you did.
Right. See? And now she's going to use that out of context. She's evil.
Listen, I am many things. Evil is not one of them.
Anybody that drinks Blue Mountain Dew is evil. Remember that.
And what about it?
See? Alcoholic Baja Blast, guys. Remember, end of February. Tell them Kenny sent you. They'll say, who the fuck is that?
They're gonna be like, who in the fuck? Who's Kenny? Who is this
Kenny,
man?
God rest his soul.
South Park. There you go. I'll give you that one.
Oh, please, do not. Oh my God.
It was a reach.
South Park came out. No, more so that that's all I heard in elementary school. Oh my God, you killed Kenny. Oh my God, you killed Kenny. And I was like, well, you don't shut up. Kenny's gonna kill you.
Jesus.
Very, very violent child, guys. Very violent.
Yeah, maybe this is why you couldn't finish high school, because you were just so mean to everybody.
Junior high. I didn't make
I'm
it
sorry,
past
junior
seventh
high.
grade.
Junior high.
Right.
Seventh
Middle
grade.
school. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Tough year, man.
Yeah, it was. There was too much partying in Baja Blast.
Never enough Baja Blast.
No, I was very jittery.
Just
very jittery.
Shaking constantly. Me,
Yeah.
but all the time.
Basically, like how it looks like when I talk to a girl.
Just
a lot of shaking, a lot of sweat.
Oh my God.
People are like, girl, he's been talking about Kyle Bird and Matt Ritter this whole time.
I can't wait for both of them to listen to this. I'm sorry.
I know.
Watch this. Because they have to watch
this.
Their man.
Experience me. Right.
Experience me. I feel like
I'm expecting gifts from both of you on Valentine's Day.
this will go out before Valentine's Day. I make sure of that. Don't worry.
Right.
I'm actually gonna put this out Monday.
See, that's why I made sure that even though we had to reschedule, I said I gotta get this done with you because I don't want to mess up your schedule.
That's okay.
So
I kind of like that. I was in episode 10 for this. I was episode 9, but I was like, I want to get mine done. I want mine to be like the last one of the year, kind of like hoorah. Actually, mine was the first one of the year.
Right, because you're gaslighting yourself. Right.
As I do. I'm allowed to every once in a while. And
I mean, it's your show. Fucking do it.
Fucking hell yeah, it's my show. Wow, I love this random boost of confidence I get. Thanks.
All right, there you go.
It's great.
You're welcome.
But I like having like a little break. So I usually put them out like every 2 weeks. Yeah. So it'll be like 3 weeks since like mine, which that's fine. I don't even care.
Right. Well, you needed more time for people to digest who you were as a person, and like really just like, well, there was a lot of tears the listeners had to shed. So for the last 3 weeks, they've just emotionally been recovering, right? So it's now they get. I was gonna get to say that now they get their release with me, but that just sounds weird because I meant emotional release.
There you go. If you put the word emotional in front of it, then
right.
Yeah.
Not like a Matt Ritter release.
I'm literally. Right. I think I'm gonna be on his show later tonight, so I'll tell him that you were talked about. He was talked about quite a lot. He's gonna enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I'll message him in a kissy face right after I'm done here. No context, just a kissy face.
I can't wait. I told him I was recording with you, and so he'll just be like, oh no, something happened. No, he'll enjoy it.
Right.
There's no oh no.
Right.
It's Matt.
Right. He better enjoy me. I mean, he better enjoy this episode.
You go. Good save.
Sorry. Thank you.
Now, Kenny.
Yes.
We have talked about you for a solid hour, right?
I loved every minute of it. I did.
Do you have any questions or anything you want to know about me? I'll turn the tables.
Yeah. What made you want to kind of like get into the head of other podcasters and stuff like? Where'd that concept come from?
So, believe it or not, I was a psychology major and then a social work major in college.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
So I've always been fascinated with the mind and how people works. For the longest time, I wanted to do something with criminal social work or criminal psychology and learn why serial killers do the things they do, things like that.
So Brandon, believe it or not, has a degree in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I never would have guessed that.
I always said it's because he wanted to find out more about himself, but But yes, the man has a degree in criminal psychology from the University of Florida.
Damn. Yeah. My degree is I have a bachelor's of science and social work. So
okay, hold on. Whoa. That's a little bit too much. No wonder you like big words.
See, that's the thing. I've tried to expand my vocabulary, but every time I'm on a podcast, I'm like, fuck! I'm just screaming swear words. I'm just like, listen here, motherfuckers. And like, right. I devolve. I don't evolve, I devolve when I podcast. Which is great for me, it's fine. Right. But I wanted to start doing this show specifically, because I have ShElite, and that's just me talking about women's wrestling, things that happen during the week, bitching about the IWC because they don't know what they're doing half the time. They don't know what they're talking about. God, I hate them.
Yes, true. Yes.
I've had
even the ones who are trying to defend the topic sometimes are just like, I don't think you see how much worse you're making it by saying I almost don't even want to bring up this topic, but like, let's just say I won't even mention her name. That's what it is. A certain wrestler had her pictures leaked, those kind of pictures.
Okay.
And so there was a hashtag to basically support her. And I was trying to tell people, don't use a hashtag to call attention to the fact that there are pictures of this woman out there.
Yeah.
If you're trying to help her, don't talk about it. Let the topic die so that she can be at peace with it.
Exactly.
But instead you're bringing it up and you're probably doing more damage. And it's just, that's one of those like IWC quirks where I'm just like, my God, you're causing more harm than you are good.
That's all they do. So I wanted to like step away from that, and I mean I like other stuff other than wrestling. Crazy, I know.
Yeah.
But all of the friends I've made like in the past year, I know them on like a somewhat personal level, but you and I have never had a conversation like this. Like I knew bits and pieces of your life. I never would have known all of this. Like I knew you had a daughter because we talked about it, but I like knowing like because there's a difference between like your on-camera persona versus the real you, because some people ham it up for the camera. Wrestlers do the same thing. Like,
right, of course.
Weird example, but Enzo Amore has numerous times said he was himself, but on camera he jacked it up to like a 12.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing with this show. I wanted to know why people started podcasting and like what they were interested in, but then also what they do when they're not dealing with all of the stupid people in the IWC and wrestling and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I started this. And most podcasters interview people they don't get interviewed.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
we're like it's I feel like a fish out of water being asked questions because I'm like usually trying to rack my brain for like questions myself, you know. So yeah, it's true. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't like that Kyle and Matt Ritter were on before me, but you know, that's especially Matt Ritter. Just
Matt was episode 2. He was
wow.
mad he wasn't episode 1.
You want to talk about hamming it up for the camera? I'm pretty much just hamming it up for Ritter at this point. I'm Ritter with the horny turned up to 12.
Oh my god.
Yep, that's me.
That's you. If anyone watches you guys interact on Twitter, they know it's you.
Good lord. Just if you look at Twitter and you see Apron Bump, what is he at Apron Bump or at Matt Ritter or myself, it's just like you would wonder what is going on with the three of them.
Like people are gonna think you're a throuple.
Right.
Like fully.
Right.
Which I mean, hey, it's 2022.
Right. Why not? We're open-minded here.
You're all in stable relationships with other people. Why not?
Or at least that's what we want you to think.
It's all been a ruse, you bastards.
Exactly. We got to keep the gimmick, brother.
Oh god.
Our gimmick, you know, like our personas are with, you know, engaged and have kids and these things, but you know, our real life, we're a throuple. And I'm like somewhere I'm the, you know, they're the two, you know, end pieces, and I'm the. I'm the cream in the Oreo. You know? But anyway.
You know, my mind immediately went to Oreo too, but I didn't want to say anything out loud.
Yeah. No, I think everybody's mind went to Oreo right there.
Jesus fuck. Anything else you want to know about me or ask me?
Yeah, I mean, it's your first year. I mean, how, you know, what do you think if you had to sit back and go, you know, this is what I learned the most in the past year compared to when I first started? Like, you know, what was that? Because I think, you know, like with me in my first year, I was kind of like, I still felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, what'd you feel?
I mean, you kind of brought it up. My confidence has grown a lot in the past year. I mean, if you look back at the first episode I was ever on of Smack Draw, it was August something. I just cannot remember. I was scared shitless. My face gets red anyways, but like my face was like red. Like the color of like this, my bracelet. It was like this fucking red the entire time. And like my internet went out like halfway through the show, and it was live, and looking back at that, I was like, oh my god, how did we survive
all of that still happens to me.
Yeah,
I never improved.
We had some issues before we started recording, but
right. See,
resolved. But like, so that was like an immediate blow to my confidence. I was like, fuck, they're never gonna ask me to be on again. And it was like my first show. I had my interview kind of thing to see if I was like a right fit. I was the only girl on the show. So once I started hosting myself, or it was like me and like Kevin, or me and RN, or me and Kyle for that matter, I slowly realized like, okay, I can do this. And this was when I was doing fucking beat for beat with all of the matches for whatever show. Worst decision I've ever made in my entire life. I will never go back to doing beat for beat because it was exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, writing it out, because like I'm like old school. I write everything. Like, I write all of the notes for my shows. Like, I wrote everything down for this. So I was writing beat for beat and then like explaining it on a show and trying to make it seem cohesive and cool and interesting. I was like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this to myself? But that's how I was taught. I was taught do beat for beat because this is how I'm doing it. And he also stopped doing that. So then I was like, okay, well, if he stopped, then I'm for sure going to stop doing that because this is like... I was like losing my voice because I was talking so much. And granted, I talk a lot. It's fine. That's why I like doing this show, because I don't have to talk a lot. Except at this point when people ask me questions. But that's okay. So I think once I got into the groove of how I wanted things to be and how I wanted the flow of the show to go,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, confidence is a thing I have now. And starting ShElite in general, like on its own, leaving Smack Raw,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, I was just like, all right, go time. And it's
You
been
need the
successful.
pressure.
Yeah.
That I think, and I think the last time you know, I saw you, I think she Lee was just kind of starting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy to see the difference of like you kind of came in and you were kind of like shy, you kind of like had your head down more, and like now it's like you're a host, like you're running, and I mean that as a huge compliment because
Thank you.
again I think you do need the pressure sometimes. It's like it's one thing to kind of like be a co-host, it's another thing to be like, oh, my name's attached to this. I
Mm-hmm.
get if I don't do this, no one else is gonna kind of like pick up the ball and run.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think humans in general do good with pressure, and if you're whoever's listening, if you're kind of in that like um doubtful part of like your podcasting experience or something where you're kind of like, oh, I need to make a move. If you're scared of it, that means you need to do it.
Yeah.
That's always the answer. That means you're trying to what's the word here? Like dreams die in like your comfort zone. So
Yeah.
if you're trying if you're feeling like you need to make a change, do it 100% because that is literally your soul crying out that you need to make some changes.
For sure. I started podcasting because I tweeted that I wanted to be on a podcast, and here I am
Yeah.
a year later.
I
Like,
remember I actually saw those tweets. Like I remember because I think a couple people had responded that I know
yeah.
responded to them of like, yeah, come on my stuff. Yeah. So like I remember those tweets.
Whoops. And I mean, that's another thing. Is like meeting people. Like I'm the same way as you. Like I'm introvert extrovert. It depends on the situation. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily like meeting new people in person. Like before you came on, and like I've had conversations with you plenty of times. I'm sitting here like
Mm-hmm.
twiddling my thumbs, nervous every time.
Yeah.
So like
Absolutely.
anytime it's somebody I might not have like the strongest relationship with, or someone I may not know as well as like Reek, Matt, Justin, my usual
Yeah.
squad of dudes, I get nervous. And like even doing ShElite live, I get nervous as fuck because I'm just like something's gonna go wrong. In the back of my mind, somewhat there all the time, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where
You
I
still
am
do
now.
it though.
Yeah.
Right. And you still do it. And I always try to I always try to teach my daughter lessons, and the biggest one I've always told her is like brave. Brave doesn't mean, oh fuck it, I'm doing it. It means like you're afraid
Mm-hmm.
and you're nervous and you're still going to accomplish it because you have that drive to do it. And that's brave. Not the person who jumps off the cliff, but the person who, jumps out the airplane with the safety harness because they're scared of heights.
Yeah.
You know. Um, but what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I forget. That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm old and forgetful, guys. I'm 47. I just turned 47 last week, so
47. Didn't you just
I
say you
turned
were
33.
33? You
Yeah, I turned 33 last week, guys.
filthy
Jeez.
liar.
Yeah, sorry. I forget my age sometimes because I'm old.
You're
Yeah.
you're old. I'm an old soul. I'm not old. I'm an old soul.
Right. You're an old soul. I'm just physically in pain when I get out of bed.
Okay,
Like, there's
I
a
am
difference.
too, but like I'm not old. I just have an old body that hates me.
I'm like an old Buick. Like I'm still going, but like, should I really be going anymore?
Should
Right.
we really be going anymore, guys?
Right. I'm unsafe to be on the road. I probably will hurt other people with my frame, and I have a back seat that no one will. It's just not safe. It's facing the other way.
Nah.
What car is that?
What's happening?
You know what I'm talking about? Those third rows that like face the other way that they used to have.
Yeah, I don't know why I have a memory of that, but I do.
I want a car like that.
Why?
Why not?
Kenny.
Imagine you just open up the trunk to my Tesla and people are facing the other way. It's dangerous, but
Yeah.
no one told them to ride with me in the first place.
Nobody said you had to get in my Tesla.
I am psychotic at best. So, yeah.
And on a good day, I'm psychotic.
Right. On a good day. Today's a good day.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad I caught you
Right.
on a good day then.
Right. Yesterday, not so much. That's why I had to cancel. I'm just kidding.
How? You said, damn. I don't even know how to go off of that.
You don't. That's pretty much that's me in a nutshell. Like, how do you just end it off of that?
That's okay.
Let's, life is like a box of chocolates.
All right, Forrest, let's calm down here.
Never know what you're gonna get. So.
All right, Forrest Gump. Let's relax there. Let's take it easy. Let's take it easy here.
Right. Medicine is for goat. That's another Tom Hanks movie. That's
Big Tom Hanks guy? Yeah.
No, actually, those are like the only two Tom Hanks movie I know: The Terminal and Forrest Gump. I've never even seen Castaway. See, so I can't be a big Tom Hanks guy.
Have you seen Toy Story?
I've seen Toy Story.
Okay,
but that doesn't count.
That counts.
That's not a Tom Hanks movie.
He's in the movie.
Would I have gone to watch it if anybody else had voiced like? If it was like Sean Connery or something, my name's Woody, and I'm like, I would have been fine. But instead, it was Tom Hanks.
Ow, fucking dare you! Love Tom Hanks. Big Tom Hanks fan.
Big.
See, you know movies.
I know of them. I know of women. That doesn't mean that I talk to them.
This is great.
I really hope my girlfriend's not listening to this.
Yeah, you might want to hope.
Yeah. It's okay. Love you, sweetheart. Mwah. And I'm talking about Matt Riddle.
I knew that was coming. Before we go, anything else you want to ask me or know about me or whatever?
No, I think we talked a lot about before we got on air. Let me see. Well, no, I know what you got your bachelor's in, so.
Yeah, I did get that bachelor's of science.
Favorite. I'll turn this on you here and ask you, who would be your favorite, and just one. I'm sure I know you answered it. Well, did you answer it in your episode? The three people that you'd want to go to dinner with.
It did. I was asked that so we took it, Matt collected all the questions, so I didn't know any of them going in, because that's kind of the whole point, is I want people to go in blind, so I was like, it's only fair if I do the same. So he collected questions from a few of our friends, and somebody asked me what 3 I would take and where we would go. Couldn't tell you who I said. I think I said Lita, but I was already hammered at that point, so I couldn't tell you who I said.
Yeah. And it's funny, I feel like I would change my third to be like a Sherry Martell. Because just someone like that who would just have stories of the business. Because I wanted to say Medusa, Alundra Blaze, and I didn't say it for some reason, but I just want to point that out, that's where my mind was going. Just people who've kind of traveled and know the rest of this. But what I was going to ask you is, if you had to take one to dinner and just have a very intimate conversation and get to know them, and this person was going to be like, hey, this is the person you're just going to train you to be a wrestler or something. So this is going to be your confidant. This is going to be your mentor. Who would you choose and why? Living or dead?
That is actually a really good question. I was not expecting you to flip it like that.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more detailed.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with her again. I'm going to go with Lita.
Yeah.
She was one of, I was more Team Lita over Team Trish going out.
Yeah.
The way she dressed, her attitude, the whole, extreme thing. I was like, I'm about this, because I grew up with an older brother, so, who's who I would watch wrestling with all the time. So, it was, I was more into, I'm a tomboy, through and through. But growing up in Team Extreme was my shit, and I loved the Hardy Boys and everything. Yeah. And Lita was so cool, and like all like learning about all the shit she had to deal with, especially with like the Matt Edge
The
thing.
yeah. But even before all that, like all that stuff, like the tours in Mexico and like what she had to do to even get
Yeah,
trained.
like
Yeah.
her story, and like that's why I'm so happy like she's back right now, and
Isn't
like
that
is
crazy?
I
But she's back
cried.
for a run.
I
Like it's
know.
not like a like it actually clicked with me the other day where I was like, wait, hold on. This is kind of like getting like Austin or The Rock back in the women's division because it's
Yeah,
like Lita's back. This is Lita. It like clicked for some reason. I feel like they didn't do it enough justice building up that Lita was coming to SmackDown. And then I was like, freaking Lita. Like, this is, like you said, I think I know more people, like more females especially, who like liked Lita more than they like Trish.
yeah,
I feel
because
like guys like Trish,
it's
but like in terms
weird.
of female influence, like Lita was like the quintessential, like, I could be her,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
I
Yeah.
aspired to be Lita.
Yeah.
I think I said it in my episode. I was like, I did like the. I wish I could have dressed like that. I was too young to be. If I was like this
Right.
age, like growing up, like I would have dressed like that 100%. But just everything she has done for the business and everything she had to go through in this
Yeah.
business, and the fact that she's back for a run, warms my heart so fucking much. I want her final four in the Rumble. I don't care what anybody fucking says. This comes out after the Rumble, so we'll see if I'm right.
Yeah.
But I want her, and if anything, I just want her to have one more WrestleMania match because she's only had one.
You know, I kind of want to see her against like Bailey.
Yes.
I kind of want to see like because I feel like Bailey would be that person who could bring out like because Lita's such a good baby face
Yeah.
and Bailey's such a good heel that it's like she can be like, I wanted to be like you growing up. You were my role model. But guess what? I became a role model. Now you want to be like me, so you came back. You know, it's like, and I could just hear the promos.
That's what a lot of people are saying is like,
Yeah.
as much as shit I talked about on the IWC, but like a lot of people are like, this is the Mania match we want is Bailey versus Lita, because we got Charlotte and Trish. Yeah, whatever. Like that's a thing that happened. I'm not happy with all of that, but neither here nor there. Bailey and Lita is something I never knew I wanted, but now I want it so bad, and if I don't get it, I'm gonna be mad.
Who knew that Lita was coming back though? You know what I mean? Like there were no
No
like
signs.
inklings of like that, but like you know, in a way, and I promise you guys, when you hear this, I would probably consider myself a WWE mark more than an AEW mark if I had to choose. Okay, that's to tell you I'm fair with what I'm about to say. I really wish Lita had gone to AEW
That's
because
yeah.
in my opinion, I've said that you know the women's division in AEW is missing that like pillar, that like legend, that like you know like obviously you got your Bryan Danielsons, your CM Punks, all these guys who came to AEW, but no one in the women's division has come to AEW.
Yeah.
Even like a Mickey James could have filled that role, and she's an Impact, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like if a Lita had come in and you got like Lita versus Britt Baker, it takes Britt Baker to a whole new level because it's like you're there with like we said, you know, the Rock and Austin of the women's division. Like that is, you know, you got Lita or Trish in AEW. Like how amazing would that be? So I've seen pictures of Trish Stratus. She's looking like just as jacked as she did back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what she's doing. And I would probably think like a WWE run possibly, like, you know, with Lita coming back. But like my heart goes like, hey, what if she ended up in AEW? There, then you got like a Britt Baker versus your quintessential like top blonde bombshell like legend.
That
And again, I'm just yeah. So in terms of like women's wrestling, I'm just like I'm needing somebody like that to go to AEW.
I agree 100% as someone who talks about women's wrestling every fucking week as much as I humanly possibly can.
Yeah,
they need that, and it's weird that like this this interview has turned to that, but no, I think that's something they definitely need. And as I'd be happy wherever Lita went. I'm just happy she's back in general. And
absolutely.
If she was the one who trained me, if I became a wrestler, shit, I'm unstoppable. Ain't nobody touching me. I'm holding the title for 3 years straight.
No, I think so. Like Lita's got so many stories, and you know, training with the boys, training with everybody. It's like she's a tough individual. You
100%.
listen to them story. She's a tough individual, and she has the autobiography, right? Like
I
out.
think so.
So if anybody needs to go read that just and to hear her story, she's been through some shit. Let's just say it like that.
And that's putting it lightly.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I love Lita. And she looks so good too. Like I can't that's not even
Right.
fair.
She looks better than she did when she came out in the 2018 Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Like better.
100%, hands
But
down.
but so does Trish, and that's what I'm saying. Like Trish is like jacked now. Remember, she was like she had like the I don't know if she's still doing it, but she was doing like the yoga stuff. She was a little thinner.
Yeah.
Like now she's like jacked, like when she was wrestling again. And I'm just like, holy shit! Like the prospect of like Alita and Trish both looking like they're in their primes, like wrestling again, like it just blows my brain.
My heart could not stand it. My heart would explode. I would die.
Right. God rest your soul.
Right. There we go. Perfect.
And on that note.
All right, Kenny. This has been fucking incredible, to say the least. This has been
Thank you.
This has been so much fun. Tell the people where they can find you and what you kind of did on your podcast if they want to go back and watch those.
I mean, we might be starting that back pretty soon, but it's youtube.com/Kenny for your thoughts. You can search Kenny for your thoughts on Spotify. I did already say YouTube, Apple podcasts. You see, I'm rusty, guys. I'm rusty. Wherever you can find your podcast for free. What I would always do is kind of look at wrestling in a different perspective. I know a lot of people would always look and be disgruntled at things. I always tried to come from an approach that, remember, at the end of the day, it's not about criticizing professional wrestling. It's about finding a way to have fun with professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I would take the controversial takes, because what I want to do is kind of like make sense of what WWE or AEW is trying to do, so that ultimately I leave that program or that storyline with a smile on my face. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if it's a good approach in life, if your end goal is happiness, if your end goal is to be satisfied, everything else will fall in place. And that's what I always gently remind people. It's like, come on, guys, this is what they were trying to do. This is where it is. This is where it fell flat, but this is what they can do to make it better. So I always try to come with that approach. Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, Kenny's on Twitter at AKFYT Wrestling. It's been on screen the entire time, as it has your logo. And obviously you'll be added and all of that jazz once I upload this. Kenny's good Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. You can watch the interactions that we keep bringing up with him,
right?
And Apron Bump and Mr.
I am
Narrator.
a troll. I am a troll on Twitter, and I like to have fun and make jokes. So
Kenny's
don't
the
take,
reason Walter's name changed.
Right. So yeah, fun story. Fightful reported that the name Gunter Stark was trademarked, and so I retweeted it nonchalantly, jokingly, and said, "Plot twist: this is Walter's new name." That very night is when he said, "The winner is Gunter," and he threw the mic down. And so when I retweeted that, 4,000 likes later, I tweeted a tongue-in-cheek apology about how I apologize that Walter changed his name because of what I said. That happened actually on my birthday, and so everybody was like throwing me under the bus jokingly, and I truthfully had so much fun on my birthday just because everybody was just like, "You're a jackass, why would you do that?" And of course everybody was having fun with it too.
Yeah.
And I think that right there is like, if you can get away from the toxicity of the IWC, that's when it's fun. Like when you can just have fun with things, and like everybody was saying I was the reason that, and I'm, for you in audio land, I'm putting up quotation marks there. I was the reason why the name changed, and it's all my fault.
Yep, it's all Kenny's fault. All
Loved
Kenny's
it.
fault.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We forgive you, I guess.
Thank you.
For now. Until something else happens, and then we'll blame you again.
Right. Until Brock Lesnar changes his name to Samson, and then it's my fault.
If that happens, somebody's gonna come back to this and clip it and be like, "This bitch is
this bastard. Look what he did.
Look what he done then." God damn it, Kenny. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at KatieWrestling13. I have the link tree in my bio to take you to all things ShElite Showcase. Twitch.tv/ShElite Showcase every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. typically, unless something comes up. YouTube, again, go watch the videos. They're way more entertaining. You can see all of the shenanigans that happen. You could look at Kenny's pretty face. You can look at all of this stuff. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, obviously for the people who like to listen, you know, when you're driving, working out, doing whatever. ShElite, I do every week. Inside the Mind of is every few weeks. I have the show In the Crowd. Supposed to be once a month. I didn't do one for January because I kind of forgot, and I'm revamping it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's my show. I can do what I want.
Nothing important happens in January anyway.
Your birthday.
The
Royal Rumble.
My two favorite things in the world, too. It's the worst part about it.
Exactly. So shut up, Kenny. Again, Kenny, seriously, thank you for coming on and doing this. I have not laughed this much in a long time. So thank you.
The honor is all mine. Thank you so much for having me because like you said, I haven't podcasted in about 3-4 months. And as soon as you asked me, I jumped at the chance because, you know, I knew it was going to be a fun time and I was right. So spoiler alert, it was definitely a fun time. And I just love the concept of the show. And yeah, thanks for having me. Like, this has been fun. This has been fun.
I mean, once you get your show up and running again, I'm down to be on.
Who's gonna listen to me talk though?
They literally just did this entire episode for about an
That's
hour
because
and a half.
you were here to filter my raw organic thoughts about Matt Ritter, Cal Bird, and you know, yeah.
I think that's a perfect way to leave it. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. Yeah. This has been this. I don't even know how to end this because this has just been fantastic.
Call me, guys. Just call me.